Hi there, welcome back to Not Another Budget. I'm Nicole, and on this channel I'm attempting to cash budget my way out of debt, fix every years of financial misbehaviour, and bring a bit of smoothness back after what's been a really tumultuous for like 2 to 3 months financially and personally and medically. First of all, I can only apologise that there was no video for you yesterday. I was fully prepared to go and do one, and then I decided on a rare weekend day that there was actually teaching work that I had to get done, and that actually I wouldn't mind doing. It was all kind of fun things like presentations and resources and stuff for a project which I have designed, and it's very much my baby and I am leading. And so I thought, well, I've got a bit of time, I'll go ahead and do that. I don't mind. I've got to rest and recover anyway because I had an active Saturday, which was wonderful and amazing. And 5.5 hours later, the very old, very cranky, very temperamental school laptop decided that it was going to force through an update, crash whilst doing the update. And when it came back to life, none of my files were there. So all 5.5 hours, a lot of work, and all of my files and all of my resources, some of which I needed for today, were gone. So, unfortunately, the recovery of definitely today's lesson took priority over filming a video. So I am sorry about that. I was fuming. I'm still slightly annoyed, and I've still got the rest of the lessons to build in. That went down like a lead balloon. Today, I wanted to go ahead and basically do a bit of calendar and budget planner organising with you all. There's nothing financially that I'm set up to talk about right now. There are some numbers and things that I need to go ahead and organise, and I've obviously got to catch up on my own budget and get everything reconciled after this weekend so that I can do a week 2 and possibly a week 3 update for you as well. But I'm starting to feel a bit untethered. I'm feeling a little bit like there's lots of things financially and time wise that are wanting my attention, a bit like a class of needy reception or kindergarten children that are all kind of wanting me all at once. There's a lot of this weekend has felt like there's been a lot of things that have popped up and been proposed that are all like the said needy children wanting commitments from me, wanting me to think about timings, wanting me to think about finances, and rather than just kind of feel a bit untethered and float around feeling like I can't really manage, and before I commit to anything which is going to take time and money, I want to just get my head around what I have. So today's video is a bit of an organisation, bit of a planning video, not so much on the heavy budgeting side, but more a bit of kind of life admin and organising. And one of those things that I want to do is I want to go through between now and September and get my calendar spreads sorted, plot out when my paydays are, and roughly, even if I have to round down slightly, round down to what I think they're going to be. Because as we approach the summer holidays, there are lots of friends and colleagues saying, oh, it would be great to meet up here. Lots of family members saying, oh, are you about for this? It feels like it's coming up to the time of year where, as well, things are breaking, things are rattling, things are slowing down. I'm literally I've glared at my fridge this weekend on multiple occasions because it started making an alarming noise, and it is an old fridge anyway that I got for free, and I'm just looking at you going, no, don't do it, no, behave, sound normal, no. I'm not in the camp of being able to afford a fridge. Just because I've decided to go ahead and generate this 5,000 extra income, it's definitely designed to be putting me into a good position with kind of a starter savings fund and then attacking my debt, not I get some money and then it has to go on something which is breaking. And at the minute, it's a toss up of, at the minute, the car or the fridge. Or my mind, take your pick. I've also come to June as well, nicely, is looking like a 4 week month, because I don't know about anyone else, but May feels proper long. I was really surprised when I saw that like tomorrow is the 20th, because I wouldn't have I would have convinced myself and had convinced myself that actually it was like 2 weeks. Like we'd not even had 2 weeks in May. So that is going quick. So I've got my main payday there, and I will have a YouTube payday here because I have crossed the threshold into a payout for June, which is excellent. So we're on the up there. In terms of like timings and school things, I am working like solid. We're on the last home run 7 weeks. In terms of what June is going to bring, this is July. Don't get confused. Don't confuse myself. In terms of what June is going to bring, I have got to make sure that definitely over the course of June, if I haven't done it by the end of May, that I need to go ahead and make sure that everything I'm selling and listing and photographed has been photographed, so that I can then go through and get those listed and uploaded and capitalized on. I think as well that when did I pre-do this one? Oh no. Oh, okay. This is okay. Oh no, I'm about to have a messy spread. This is going to upset me greatly. Hang on. Does that mean that I've done this on the other months and I've not actually realised? When did I go through and do this? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hang on, guys, I'll be with you in a second. I'm just like, I can't quite cope with life right now. 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay, right. I can't remember what I was saying, so that's just going to have to go into like the squirrels in the sky. Oh, July looks like awfully long. 1, 2, 3, 4.5, nearly 5 weeks. Awesome. Cool. We break up here, so I stop working on Friday the 18th. And realistically, I'm probably going to be a floppy mess at least that weekend, possibly halfway into the week. And then in terms of payday, it's going to be here, I think. And then I'll get YouTube possibly here. So this is going to be okay, cool. That's horrendous. That's horrible. That answers a lot of questions about what I can do over July. Hey. Right. Okay. Cool. July, August. So I get 6 weeks off over the holidays, and I'm not going on holiday. I might do the odd kind of day trip, visit to the beach, visit to a National Trust property, but I want to be able to do all of those if people invite me and know that I can financially afford to do it. At the same time as well, in theory, because I'm going to be a bit of a home bunny, my petrol should reduce over certainly the 6 week period. But within being at home, I've got to try and work out kind of like a project and a structure that I want to set for myself and do that's not necessarily just the listing side of it and not necessarily just the vintage side of it, because having had 3 months off, so longer than this 6 week period, I could spend my whole time doing that and feel like I'm not adequately rested after a first year of teaching. It's a bit of a catch-22 because it's needing that time financially to get things done and sitting going, right, great, there's this fantastic opportunity, there's this lovely window, but at the same time it's wanting to have a chance to have a break and have a rest and engage in activities and opportunities. And what was really nice about the Warner Brothers visit that I had on Saturday was it was that one thing that I said I would give myself a month, one social activity, one outing, one visit to this National Trust English Heritage whatever site, museum site, whatever it was. It was the one thing that I'm doing. Now my one thing for June, I'll get this done and then we're going to talk about that. So Friday the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2, 3, 4, 5, 31. Ooh, okay. Right. There is already the one thing booked in for June, which, if you can remember, and I know I've definitely talked about this recently, is that way back when it was announced, I booked tickets to go with my sister to see the Cartier exhibition. I think I talked about this in a live, my most recent live. I booked tickets to go see the Cartier exhibition in London, which is a bit of it's a trip. So I think that is I think that's going to have to be that one thing for June. Yeah, I think it's going to have to be the one thing for June. Because I don't see how I can get my income to stretch to more than one thing and start to do debt payoff and put money to savings. There's a few things at the minute that I'm playing around with as well, and this is why it is kind of good to just have an admin video where you get bogged down in the weeds. Doing an activity like I did on Saturday, where I went through and broke down kind of everything. How many hours do I need to spend in to get X amount for etc. It's all good and it's all worthwhile, and I would say that this past week and certainly last week has been a lot of right, let's just nail down some organisational, let's do all of these things. And what I've not gone through as well yet and done is look and plot out what my income looks like, wherein I don't need to pay so much for my cat because a large amount of that is sorted anyway. And this will be the first month really where I see that, and I'm still working on the unknown of I don't know if I have a full pay or a half pay. Still haven't been told this by HR or by payroll, despite me asking that question. One thing I do want to do and get started on is restart my Jade challenge, where each crystal is worth £5 and I save £3.50, and actually get this saving ahead for Bowie's next 2-3 monthly batch of meds, plus his next blood test going on as well. So there's a few little things and stuff that I want to get saving and sorted, and there is also the debt thing which massively needs to get addressed. So I think the V&A exhibition, by the time I factor in travel, even light refreshments, it's yeah, I think that's going to have to be the one thing for June, which kind of answers that question. I'm back at school here. I'm not writing very well today either. My brain isn't quite linking up between words and writing. So I'm back to school here. I don't know if I want to do a car boot on the Sunday. I need to do a car boot. It is either going to be the 1st or the 8th, I think. Okay, we'll leave that there for now. It's a chunky month. Okay, let's go to July. Right, top half of the calendar I'm working, bottom half of the calendar I'm off. Therefore, I will be needing a tank and a half of petrol in this time frame. Okay. There's going to be lots of school trips and lots of activities and stuff this week, which I may be involved in. So this week is a school trip week. Okay. So potentially might want a bit of cash on hand. So I think therefore let's car boot that first weekend of July. I think if I go for car boots around the first weekend, I think people are more likely to have cash in their pockets. This is the methodology I'm thinking. And then also as well, that gives me a cash boost at the start of the month. And I'm immediately adding to my wages rather than drip feeding it in through Vinted on via that way. So it's a quick cash injection that will come in and get sorted there. But it's also a longer month. But it's a longer month where if I don't have to spend anything in the last 2 weeks, it's okay, it's not a problem. Yeah. The one thing is not booked in for July though. Right, August. Payday is going to be here. Therefore, you are going away there. Bank holiday. Right. I know what the one big thing is because I don't think I said this. I got Coldplay tickets for Christmas. So I'll be going with brother and sister and dad to Coldplay on their opening night, or they're on their opening Saturday, and Wembley, at Wembley Stadium. So that is going to be the big thing. That's going to be the big thing. And I cannot wait. So I'm going to see Coldplay there. YouTube might pay in late because of the bank holiday. YouTube will either pay here or they'll pay here. It's another month where it feels horrendously long, even though it's not. I'm wondering, and let me know down in the comments what you would do. This is a situation which I think is unique to teachers because we have that condensed working year and then this 6-week period where we still do work. We're just not surrounded by children and we're kind of off, and it's our recharge and our recuperation because the kind of the half-term weeks just knock most of us for six. Like we're not all gallivanting and adventuring. I'm wondering whether I try and, because I've been wanting to utilise some of my own challenges for a while. I'm wondering whether I utilise one of my own challenges, maybe the adventure fund and the day trip fund. Maybe I use the holiday funds. Yeah. Right, there's a few things I want. I'm really kind of, if you're making it through this video, fantastic. It's not going to be the best one I've ever done. But it's something that I was all of a sudden conscious of. It's a week before we break up. I've got this weekend where I'm there and I'm going, right, I'm not going anywhere, I'm not seeing anyone, I'm getting my house sorted and tip top, like, because I'm still sitting in mess that would have been started from the start, that would have been here from the start of the month, because I just have not had a free window to get everything done. So I want to take the weekend to do it, and then what I don't want to do is spend all of next week tidying, sorting, organising. I've got the things that I know I need to photograph and get ready to go and get those listings activated, but then actually I'd like to kind of do some projects. I'd like to do some painting. I'd like to actually recharge and go on a few day walks in and around my area and just try and build my stamina back up and try and engage in activities that are good for me. And therefore, when I go into the summer holidays, I don't want to fall into the same trap of constantly listing, constantly looking for things like that. I want to be able to really develop and grow the Etsy side of what I have going on, indulge in some new hobbies, blah 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 blah. But also at the same time, I want to be able to say yes to certain things. And I think if I have some funds going, I will know what I am saying yes to because it's pre-saved and pre-affordable, and it will also ideally be matched with a debt payment. So, particularly if it's for a social activity. So let's say, for example, not committing at this stage, that each one of my icons is worth £5. Therefore, this row is worth £20. If I save £20 in this row, I want to have paid £20 off towards debt. I'm having this real catch-22 at the minute between the urge to go and indulge in the I've had a stressful year, let's relax, let's say yes to things and opportunities, and also versus the doing the right thing to do. And I feel that that is something that everyone within the budgeting community has and faces those challenges. I would feel a bit easier about doing whatever I choose to do kind of socially in terms of extra activities on top of the one big thing that I've committed to, because I will probably just end up rotting at home if I don't make an effort to go out and try and do some things, and I will look for free things as well. I'll feel a bit better about putting £20 towards a day trip somewhere if I've also paid £20 towards debt. And I think that's a good way to do it. And it's I think that could potentially be a good balance of, here's £5 saved in this pot and here is £5 paid off this debt. I have still got to go through and work out my priority order and what I want to challenge and what I want to address and what I want to look at. But I think if I utilise because I think these three are in my top three. Well, in that case, they would be all. These are in my top set of favourites. It's my holiday adventure funds. Digital versions are available. Physical versions will be available at some point. Maybe next week if I pull my finger out and get that done as well. If I can try and go ahead and work on these as a little pot to take me through the summer holidays, then I know I've got that, because those are all extra things where in the past I would have said yes and not necessarily thought about the financial implications. And I wanted to get an idea of where am I at financially in terms of paydays from both YouTube and my wages before we go onto school break. And then where am I sitting during school break? So I've got 2 more paid days from my work before I break up for school, and I've got 2 more YouTube paydays before I break up to school. Then when I'm on the break, I have 2 paydays while I'm on there, one at the very start or 2 weeks in, and one at the very end. I then have 2 YouTube payments, one at the literal very start and one near the end. So spacing out wise isn't great. So I think if I've got these that I can draw on, not to make them a priority category, but to just know that I'm setting something aside and doing something. If I don't spend it, I don't spend it. Case in point, I went this weekend and didn't spend what I could have spent for the money that I've taken, and felt like I walked away not needing or wanting to spend anymore. And I think that's actually a crucial part of it as well. It's easy to spend money when you don't have money. You want everything. But the comfort of knowing that you can do it and spend something if you want to because it's there and it's accounted for was quite eye-opening to me. And it was definitely something that I trial tested this weekend. It's not a summer holiday period that I'm looking forward to, I will be honest. And I think I'm not looking forward to it because I think... yeah, I'm just not looking forward to it. And that's why we'll leave that for now, because it's 24 minutes in. I don't need to open that can of worms. Cool. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a little bit of an odd one, but I thought, no, I'll bring something out. I need to kind of get my calendar organised, and I need to go through and look at when I have my paydays and what's going on, and all of these kind of attention hungry squirrels are all screaming for attention, and I just need to kind of roughly track, and can I get to a point where actually I can go into the holidays and I'm on top of my backlog in terms of listing and sorting and stuff like that. That would be fantastic. Can I get to the point where I'm in a position where I can actually source things and make more money off them? That would be nice. Who knows? On that note, I'm going to see you tomorrow for a little bit more of an organised video, and I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a fantastic budgeting week wherever you are in the world. 10 days, 11 days left of May, and it is going both slow and fast at the same time. I will see you all then. Bye bye for now.